There was Raskolnikov, who was forced to leave college after being driven out of poverty in St. Petersburg. He said he was driven by poverty, but he was not timid. He had his own solid idea, and it was made into reality. He has been making meticulous preparations for quite a long time to achieve the idea. And by any chance, the opportunity came, and he was extremely excited. Along the way, he meets a middle-aged man named Marmeladov at a bar. Her daughter Sonia was working as a prostitute, and she thinks was different from her younger sister Dunya, who will marry later if she were being sold for her family. So the next day dawns. He carefully puts his plan into practice. Eventually, it kills the greedy old lady of the pawn shop and takes away the life of her brother, who happens to witness it. After the murder, he lives with an extreme sense of fear and illusion. Then he is summoned by the police and cannot hide his embarrassment. Learned that his poor situation, the light of his overdue rent, is driving him. But right after coming back, he feels even more afraid. Unlike other murderers here, he hides all his stolen goods under a stone without touching them. He was just lying in bed, suffering from a fever and all the whole. At that time, letters and money from his mother after a few years, gave him happiness. But on the contrary, they aroused fear and anger. What's happened is that Dunya, her brother, will marry an old middle-aged man. He was so angry that he soon went out with his sick body that he met a man named Marmeladov. But Marmeladov was already a wounded man who was hit by a wagon and was seriously injured. Send him home based on his previous meeting, but he will die. Raskolnikov, who knew about Marmeladov's situation, gives his wife all the money she receives from her mother. In this action, he feels contented and self-confident, and he is reunited with his mother and brother, Dunya. The reunion of years was joy, but after suffering from illness, he collapsed. However, with the intense nursing of his friends and family, he regains his strength and takes time to meet slowly. He goes on with his story, firmly revealing his anti-marriage will to Dunya. Then Marmeladov's daughter, Sonia, comes to his house and abandons the prostitute's justices. And soon after meeting Dunya's marriage partner, who was rather nervous, everyone in the family finds out that he took advantage of their poverty. As a result, the marriage was annulled and the mother said God saved it. After the time, everything seemed to be settled when Dunya had fortune of 3,000 rubles and started the business with Raskolnikov's his friend last name. In response, Raskolnikov will follow his family and run into Sonia to confess his crime. Sonia was embarrassed, but she hugged him and offered words of consolation, because even if he had killed, it was not a profitable, selfish act, and he was suffering enough. And Sonia asked Raskolnikov to confess, and he soon confesses. Raskolnikov went to Siberia and as a type, and Sonia followed suit. Also, Dunya and Rasmin get married. Raskolnikov, who has been frustrated in the land, finds his love and hope for the future. Finally, the love between the two was confirmed and they were given a ray of hope.